Hi, I'm Maria from Nancy's Notions, and today I'm going to talk to you about turning your home sewing machine into a flatbed work surface. The importance of this is to create a larger, stable surface for you to quilt on so that you're not playing tug of war with gravity and with the quilt falling off the edges of your machine bed. So let's take a look at this. So first of all, with your normal home sewing machine, you've got this box of utility box that hooks onto the machine, and this is a typical sewing surface. But you can see there's not much room for my hands, so just showing you what a frame or a hoop would look like on top without the quilt, this gives you an idea of how easy it's going to be to fall off the back edge and off the sides. So let's do this a minute. I can do the quilting like this, but I have such a small area to work in at one time that it's really not as efficient as it could be. Going this way. Oh, I've got to move my hand already again. And now I'm fighting with what's back there and what's falling in my lap. So now let me show you how much easier this will be with flatbed quilting. So what I have here is an extension table that's made by Sew Steady, and you can see the dramatic difference between this area and this area I'm going to have to put my quilt on top. So I'll move this out of the way a little bit. I'm going to take the utility tray off, set that aside, and now this groove is going to fit right here around what's left of the bed of my machine. And look at this. I now have a place to rest my arms and to rest the quilt, which is equally as important as where my hands are going to go. When you order your Sew Steady table, they are ordered according to your machine, so they're custom for your specific sewing machine. So that they fit perfectly. The surface is a high quality acrylic that is both smooth and sturdy. Here is one of the extra feet that comes with, and you can see how easy it is to adjust the height of the table just by screwing the end of it here. I've made it taller now, or I'm going to screw it right back in and make it shorter to custom fit my table and my machine. With all of the feet that are under here, I've got a great stable surface to work on now. So now you can see I've got the Sew Steady table set up, and I've got my quilt put back on here, and look at this lovely large space I've got where the quilt is laying out nice and flat. I'm not gripping and pulling it to get it underneath the needle, and I'm not fighting with gravity in my lap over here because that table comes out all the way to here, and it's supporting the quilt more than just the bed of the machine does. It's going to allow me to create better shapes, to get smoother lines, and be much happier when I'm done. So now let's talk about accessories a little bit. Right now I've got the Bigfoot put on the machine. It has this great large area around here that I can use to help do some echo quilting later. And it's clear so I can see through it to see what I've already stitched. I don't have to guess where I'm going next. So for the quilter who has trouble holding onto the quilt while she quilts, or maybe she's got arthritis in her hands, we have these great guides called the Fabulous Fabric Guide by the Gypsy Quilter. And you can see underneath are some grippers, but they're not sticky, so they're not going to add anything icky to the top of your quilt. And they simply go right around the needle area, and you can hang on here with your fingertips to move that quilt around while you're quilting. Depending on what size you're trying to quilt in, you might want the larger hoop, which would be my preference because I like this bigger space. So I can quilt all the way around inside this area and simply pick it up and move it to the next area I want to quilt in without having to actually re-hoop something like you would when you're embroidering. Another nice product is this Supreme Slider. If you're having trouble that your quilt is still sticking to your surface a little bit, let's take a look at how easy this is to put on. You can see it's pink on one side, which is actually the back side, and white on the other. And I am simply going to slide this under my foot. Oh, look how well it sticks. Slide it right under my foot. So here I have the Supreme Slider in place, the small hole that's in there goes underneath your needle area so you're not poking through it as you sew. This non-slip surface on the back is quite rubbery, like I have to really tug to get it to move or completely peel it up to reposition. So you don't have to worry about that changing its place as you stitch. And then we've got the nice, smooth, shiny surface on top that's going to allow the quilt to glide more freely as I quilt. Now I'm going to put my quilt back on here. Take advantage of that large flatbed area. And look at how much easier yet that's going to slide around. So now the combination of the Sew Steady table and that slider, Supreme slider that we put in, is allowing me to glide even more freely on this flatbed surface, and I don't feel like I have to quick grab and catch the quilt before it falls off the edges. So it's even taking some of the strain off of my fingers and wrists as I'm moving the quilt. Now for those of you who don't like to do free motion quilting but would like to do some straight line quilting or quilting in the ditch, the walking foot would be my tool of choice. It hooks on to the machine similar to other feet. This is going to go over the needle bar so that it helps create that movement. This is a guide that you can position however close or far away from the needle you want it to be to achieve straight gridded lines. And underneath here you can see these little plastic grippers that come through as you're stitching with this foot that help to evenly feed the fabric underneath. One of the advantages of having this Sew Steady table set up with your home sewing machine is that you have a much nicer time of it with the proper tools installed with your machine. Shop for these supplies and more by clicking the link at the end of this video or in the details below. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, click the like button or leave us a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe.